W2FJH, bringing up the STNY Digital VoiceNet on Brandmeister Talk Group 31367, wires X Room 8372 and live stream to Google Meet and YouTube. The primary purpose of the STNY Digital VoiceNet is to help foster an active digital voice community in the southern tier of New York and to provide a forum for those that are interested or have questions regarding various digital voice topics. While this net is primarily for the southern tier, all stations are more than welcome to check in. This net meets weekly on Sundays at 7 p.m. For more information about this net, please visit stnydmr.net. This net will prioritize short-time, mobile, in and out, or emergency power stations. We currently do have 5 stations checked in, so the net would like to recognize K3BYC Carlton, W2 KDC Dennis, 82 FB Blake, All right, nothing heard, so let's open it up to any station that would like to check into the STNY Digital Voice this evening. Please call now.
Net Control. This is November 3, Oscar Juliet Papa, Mick, Chautauqua County.
All right, then I would like to recognize N30JP Mick. Were there any other stations to join this evening? Please call now. All right, we also have N2NRA Cliff. All right, let's kick things off. If there's any announcements for the net this evening, please call now. All right, nothing heard there. I just have one quick announcement. I have been giving this announcement the last couple of weeks there just to make sure everybody's aware. We are quickly approaching our 1,000th check-in, and we'll be giving away a pair of Haltech V3 mesh-tastic capable boards, which provides kind of an off-grid solution for hams or non-hams to do messaging in longer ranges there. So, I gotta say, we are getting pretty close. It would be kind of a large net, probably the largest net we've had if we hit it on this net, but we are getting pretty close to that mark there. So, all right, moving along. If there's any questions for the net this evening, please call now. All right, then we will jump right into comments. So the net topic this week is any words of wisdom you'd have to hams getting started in DMR. So the top of my list here is K3BYC Carlton. How was your week?
This is K3BYC Carlton from Darlington, Maryland. Thank you, Frank, for taking the net, and good evening to everyone else. Regarding DMR, well, I guess I've been doing it for 5 or 6 years, or maybe more. I have a repeater nearby, and I have the Raspberry Pi hotspot that I go through. Big thing, of course, is the programming or the code plugs, as they call it uh, words of wisdom is to get a decent radio. I currently use the Alliance HD1, which is made by the losing it now, but and I also have an Anytone, although I'm having some difficulties with bit error rate. Uh, Really, it's just sort of an organization thing. Uh, get your priority contacts in, your channels, and your receive list and your zones. But each radio has some variants. Get help one-on-one to help with your programming. I'm going to reset. Yeah, just it's really no easy answer on that. But anyway, Redivus is the one that manufactures the Alliance there. A good radio. It's my favorite of the two that I have, but I know Anytone certainly has a great reputation there. Other than DMR, I continue to monitor on Broadcastify the operation down in North Carolina, uh, the recovery, and I never cease to be impressed by the hams that are jumped in and just literally working around the clock to keep the communications going. And that poor area has months and months, if not years, to go into recovery. And I know the clubs and areas races up here we're monitoring. We're also talking about ways to prepare, do time to harden our communications, and we think it can't happen here, but it's frightening when anything can happen. So that's all I have for now. But again, thank you for taking the net. This is K3BYC. Back to net control.
Hey, thanks, Sir Carlton. And yeah, I've been listening in a few times myself there and hearing a lot on the news about that. But I also did look up the Redivus HD1. I think that was one that I was looking at potentially getting in the future. I did like the waterproof. It was like IP67 rated. So just if you're outside and you can't really help getting the radio wet, I thought that was a good radio there. So all right, moving along. W2 KDC is next on my list. Dennis, how was your week?
I guess it was point 11 on the wine glass marathons, watching the racers come by, reporting if there were problems, etc. That was the first time I'd done that, so that was definitely a fun experience. Um, Let me do a quick reset. As far as advice getting into DMR, well, I'm still in my first year of doing it, so it's fresh in my mind. Uh, what I did, I don't know, maybe it would be considered cheating by some, was I paid Bridgecom, and they sent me a radio and a hotspot that were all programmed and ready to go. So that got me started right away. I since have learned how to add and remove and make changes in all the different areas by looking at the code plug that came with it. I guess one other little bit of advice is if you get a working code plug, be sure to back it up and save it as a good working code plug when you go on to make changes. that's my advice for this evening. W2KDC, back to Frank in net control.
Hey, very good there, Dennis. And just FYI, anybody that is in the southern tier, um, if you go on to, speaking of code blocks here, if you go on to 73.net, if you go under the STNY Digital VoiceNet space, you'll click in the top left corner, you'll get to the drop down there, and you'll click on that. If you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see it says space menus, and you go into files, and there are DMR code plugs for a variety of radios that we've kind of worked on. Let me try to see here. There's the Alinco DJ MD5, the BTEC 6X2, the D878UV, that's the Anytone 878UV, and the Radiodity GD77. I think that the Radiodity GD77 has been discontinued. I've been waiting for updates for the GD88 before I recommend anybody jump on that one. It is a unique radio though, because it's DMR and it actually is dual receive. You can actually listen to two different. It actually has two different receivers in it, so you can actually listen to two different things at the same time. So, but all right. Anyways, getting down to my list here, I have 82FB. Blake, how was your week?
This is 82FB to Frank in the net. Good evening, everyone. My week was good. I was traveling downstate visiting some family, so I didn't do a whole lot on the radio, but had a good time with them. Had some good food and saw some people I hadn't seen in a while, so that was nice. As for my advice on getting into DMR, I'm pretty new to it in the last few months, and my general advice on everything hobby and radio related is start cheap and go from there. So I bought a secondhand BTEC 6X2 and a little MMDVM board to plug into a Raspberry Pi that I already owned. So I was off to the races for, I don't know, $150 or so, just to see if I liked it. And then I did, so I'm sticking with it. Yeah, kind of I'm a tinkerer, so I like figuring everything out with the code plugs and everything, kind of on my own. But it was a little bit of a journey. So yeah, be prepared for that, but don't get too frustrated and give up, because there is a whole world out there. 82FB, back to net.
Hey, very good there, Blake. And yeah, I know me personally, I've tried to help quite a few folks because it seems like, as you said, the learning curve. Kind of people get a little pickup or bump in the road there, and they kind of get hung up on it, you know. And usually, once you kind of get over that little speed bump, it's smooth sailing afterwards. Like it's just one little thing or another. It seems like sometimes people get stuck on. But yeah, we get that solved and smooth sailing. So, all right, next on my list is N2NCB. Paul, how was your week?
Hello again, Frank and all, N2NCB here. Week was good, especially amateur radio wise. Earlier, let's see, we're into this week, so it'll be last week. There were a few days that I called a CQ and ended up having a pileup, and boy, did that get exciting for a while. And but I think, except for a couple of exceptions, I think I got everybody. But it filled up a few pages of the logbook, that's for sure. As far as DMR goes, I think that the first thing is do all the research you can before you want to pile in to getting the equipment, whether it's cheap, inexpensive, maybe inexpensive is a better word, or you go to a higher level. But case in point with me, was that not necessarily with DMR, but another digital, I thought I could go places that the owners didn't want me to go. And fortunately, it all turned out all right. So at that point is when I got a hotspot. So I'm quite sure if I'd done more research, that would have come out. So with that, we'll turn it back to you, Frank. Take care, all, and to NCB.
Hey, very good there, Paul. And yeah, I kind of fell into the same pitfall there you had. But yes, also very good. I have told people that on the DMR side too, you can actually get into DMR and learn about it and everything for free. There's actually applications that can run on your PC or they can run on your Android or iPhone, and you can browse all of the talk groups and you can even transmit on those. There is Hose Line, which is listen only. The Hose Line, any browser you're in, you know amateur radio or not, like you have a license, no license, whatever, you can listen to it. So I think that's to me DMR was always kind of like the more open um, flavor of digital voice. Just because there's so many different pathways into it, you're not tied to a specific radio brand. So, all right. Before I get to my next station, this is W2XAH with the STNY Digital Voice. And let me take a quick standby to see if there's any additional stations that would like to join this evening. Please call now. All right, nothing heard there, so we will move on down the list. Next on the list is N2RWH. Ed, how was your week?
Evaluate not too dear. Like, pretty good. Weather seems to be a normal about great. So, yes, uh, DMR lice would be is either you can buy a cold plug that's already pre-done or have someone help you with that. I think lots of patience, and once you get it up and going, um, I can thank Frank for that. His old
Hey, very good there, Ed, and thanks. And also, just by the way, I think that's great advice. For anybody getting started in a DMR, you need lots of patience.
Oh, good evening, Frank. Everybody on the net. Well, finally got the place painted here in the garage at the cottage. Well, what a project. Windows reglazed, caulked. It was, it took a lot of time. Finally got the deck stained last Friday. Well, the other day here, Friday. And a multitude of other work. It was quite a project. Let's see. We just had a rainstorm come through here about 2 hours ago. It was pretty good. Even had a couple of chunks of hail. But I was at the Elmira Hamfest. Saw Cliff. Saw a bunch of fellows from Arrest and the Twin Tiers Digital Net that I joined. So that was primarily the reason why I went out there. My wife came, but she stayed in a hotel while I was at the Hamfest. And then she and I bummed around the Finger Lakes next couple of days, so it's kind of nice. As far as new to DMR, I agree with what everybody said, and patience is big. Um, but I would recommend a person to get a mentor. I think that was mentioned. Join a club, and don't try to figure this out yourself. Of course, the newer radios are a little easier to program, but get with somebody. Also, join this group, the Southern Tier of New York Digital Net. That's what I did. And then when I got into DMR, really all I had was the PA State and Western Pennsylvania. I was getting on those nets. And then one night on the PA State, the Southern Tier of New York talk group was announced. And I received a lot of help. Frank, Ed, Dennis, and others. So it's been very helpful. By the way, I did try to connect last week as we were driving back outside of Naples, and I couldn't do it. I could not get the Shark RF and the hotspot connected. So that's why I wasn't around. But tonight, I just turned on the Shark RF and had the Wi-Fi on. Of course, I didn't have it connected to my internet here, and everything worked perfect. So I'll have to play around some more. Frank, back to you. W2FJH N30JP.
Hey, very good there, Mick. And yeah, actually, Cliff mentioned that last week that you met up at the Ham Fest, and I was saying that I unfortunately wasn't able to make it, but I was thinking, hey, we should probably make plans for next year. A lot of the folks in the Southern Tier net here, maybe we could try to get together, or those folks that are available in range. I know some folks check in from quite a few states away, which I do appreciate. You stopping by and everything, but I can see that'd be a long drive for some of you. So, all right, this is W2FJH with the STNY Digital VoiceNet. Once again, before I get to my next station, let me see if there's any additional stations that would like to check in this evening. Please call now. All right, haven't heard there, so next on my list is N2RWH. Cliff, how was your week?
This is N2NRA. Cliff, yeah, it was good catching up with Mick there and 30JP at the Hamfest. I'm glad you got to see some stuff around Finger Lakes as well. Mowed the lawn this week and looking at getting things ready for winter, more or less. And I've been looking at FL Digi with my son. There is a storm supposed to be coming tonight, I guess, so we'll disconnect the antenna. As far as DMR, I'm new to it, and my son got me involved with it. And I say explore other avenues of ham radio is a great thing, and get a mentor if it's necessary to set up. This is N200A back to net control. Thanks to everything there, Frank.
Hey, very good there, Cliff. And yeah, I actually got around to doing the same. I finally got my lawn mowed. It was a little while, and it seemed like certain spots were really tall, but other spots like barely grew at all. But yeah, getting in a little bit cooler weather, I think there might only be like a mow and maybe another mow just to move the leaves around, basically. But yeah, it's getting a little chilly out there. So. All right, this is W2FJH with the STNY Digital VoiceNet. I have reached the end of my list. So let's see if there's any additional stations or any stations that have checked in with additional comments, questions, or concerns. Please call now. All right, nothing heard there. I did have one quick comment there. Thanks to the Rex and to SRX for informing me last week that he did send me an email through my email. It's on QRZ, and apparently when I had my domain registered with Google Domain, and when it switched over to Squarespace, apparently my email forwarding did not work anymore. So I did have that fixed. So if you have emailed me in the past couple months there, I do apologize. I didn't get the email, but if you could, hit a resend or something, I greatly appreciate it if you were trying to get a hold of me. But all right, let's make this final call here. For any additional stations or any stations that have checked in with comments, questions, or concerns, please call now. All right, nothing heard, so we will wrap things up here. I'd like to thank Carlton, Dennis, Blake, Paul, Ed, Nick, and Cliff for joining me this evening. We'll be returning this talker back to normal amateur radio use. Everybody have a great and safe week here. This is W2FTH, and I'll be listening.